I've saved my progress as simpleredscene.psd. It's found inside the 04 3D Tools folder. I figure this chair looks halfway reasonable, especially if it's being lit from lights inside of the structure. It doesn't look at all like the light streaming in from outside. However, what doesn't look right at all is its dimension. After all, if these are benches off to the side, then this chair has no business being this big. Also, what's it doing in the middle of everything? And why is it made of stone? So then I started thinking, wouldn't it be great if the chair was an installation piece? And the whole purpose of this building was to house this giant piece of marble. So I ended up coming up with this final composition here. But notice that there's quite a few differences. Not only is the chair in general larger, but the back of the chair is much taller. We have fewer columns, and we have this much thicker header at the top, which means I need to go back into SketchUp and make some changes. Well, there's no live link between what I'm doing in SketchUp and Photoshop, so I'm going to have to re-import the model. So I'm going to switch to SketchUp for a moment, and you can see that this is that version of the chair that we've already imported. Now I'm going to switch over to another SketchUp image, which is this guy with a taller back, the bigger header, and so forth. Now, what I want you to really see here is that's all I changed. I changed the size and number of columns. I changed the size of this header. I changed the height of the columns. That is it. I didn't do a darn thing to the seat or the legs. Didn't touch them at all. And yet, watch what happened. The very same export settings, the same Collada DAE format, and yet we get pretty significantly different results. So let's switch back over to Photoshop here. And I'm going to go back to my composition at hand, and I'll turn off that low back layer. Let's create a new 3D layer by clicking on a background layer, going up to the 3D menu, and choosing New Layer from 3D File. And then I'll enter that SketchUp Models folder, select Tall Chair DAE, there it is, click Open. And this time, not only is the chair on its back, but 3 of the 4 legs are broken off of the chair. And this is what I was talking about with occasional hierarchical problems between SketchUp and Photoshop. And I don't know which program's fault it is. I don't know whether SketchUp's not providing the right data or Photoshop's misreading the data. It really doesn't matter. It's still up to you to fix this problem. Well, fortunately, righting the chair, tipping it upright, is exactly the same as it ever was. And by the way, that is an actionable operation. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my Actions panel, which you can also get by going to the Window menu and choosing the Actions command. And then I'm going to click on the flyout menu icon and choose Load Actions. And I've got this chairactions.atn file right ready to go for you. Click on the Load button, and notice it has 2 actions, Pick Up Chair and Repair Legs. And I'm going to show you both of them. Click on Pick Up Chair, twirl open the action, and you can see it's not many steps. Basically, we're transforming the 3D object, so we're putting it exactly where it needs to be, making it upright and so forth. And I'm also transforming the camera, and I'm snapping the 3D object to the ground plane. So to give it a shot, just go ahead and click on the play button, and there it is. However, notice if I close the panel for a moment that the legs are still strewn willy-nilly here. Well, the other action actually takes care of that. If you click on Repair Legs, also not that complicated of an action. There's just 6 meshes, that is 6 independent pieces of this model that need to be repositioned and glued together. So if I go ahead and play this action by clicking on the play button down here at the bottom of the Actions panel, Photoshop goes ahead and puts all the legs exactly where they need to be. Well, that's all very well and good, and it's nice to know that you can record an action of this kind of thing if you need to, which proves to be especially useful if you find yourself having to re-import a model over and over again. But what in the world did I just get done doing? Well, I'm going to go ahead and backstep a few operations by bringing up my history panel and clicking on Set 3D Camera Position, because that was after we got done righting the chair, that is tipping it upright. We've already seen how that works. Adjusting the camera position, we've already gotten a sense of what's going on there. Now let's just go ahead and take care of the legs. And to take care of the legs, what we need to do is we need to adjust the independent meshes. And you do that by double-clicking on the thumbnail for the 3D object here inside the Layers panel and figuring out what each one of the meshes are. So we have a fair amount of meshes to deal with here, although it's not nearly as complicated as you'd think. And we also have to address these meshes using one of these mesh tools that's available here in the 3rd slot on the left-hand column here inside the 3D panel. And that's just what we're going to do starting in the following exercise.